Hi, this is Brad with ProLight Gear, and today we're going to be talking about the Vargo Triad stove. And right now, I've put a half an ounce of alcohol into my little squeeze bottle here because it is impossible to see how much alcohol you're actually putting in this thing using our little shot glass we've been using for the other ones. It is really difficult to fill because you can only put in a few drops at a time, and so I'm about half an ounce into it, and if you go too fast it spills over the top and it takes forever. This stove doesn't really prime very quickly, so we're going to use a priming pan for this stove as well, which I have made out of the bottom of a soda pop can. I just took my pocket knife or tin snips, cut out the outside, and made little legs for it to sit on, so when you put it underneath this thing, it works like a perfect little priming pan. We're going to add our 2 cups of water exactly to the pot. Figure out overall temperature of the water we're starting with, which should be right around 68 degrees roughly. And we'll start a boil test here soon. Alright, we have 2 cups of water at exactly 69 degrees. Got our lid here ready to go. Again, this is the Vargo Triad stove. This is the priming pan. I'm going to take my alcohol squeeze bottle here. Just add a tiny little bit of alcohol, maybe a ml or so in there. Put it underneath the stove, and we'll get it lit. And we'll get this thing... barbecue lighter doesn't work. Priming and ready to go. The good part about this one versus the Vargo Decagon, you can set the pot on this while it primes. The Decagon you could not, so this definitely has the edge over the Decagon in that respect. We'll fire this up every other minute so you can see how things are going. Alright, you can definitely see the priming pan taking off with this little guy, getting the fire going pretty darn well. Once that priming pan burns out, you'll see the stove, the flame definitely drop down. This is kind of like a Whisper Light International when you first get it going. And I actually think I'm burning the handle on my pot right now. That's awesome. Alright, we are at 2 minutes and 10 seconds of cook time on this. And what I found out is that when you put a half an ounce of alcohol in this stove and it looks like it's not full, the second you put the priming pan underneath it, the alcohol bubbles right through that little hole in the center and comes up to dead level with the jets and really kind of goes crazy. So I've used a lot of alcohol in the last few minutes here trying to get this going, and I'm not sure what would have happened if that priming pan wasn't underneath it, because I had alcohol full to the brim dripping over the sides. When I lit it, there was no alcohol anywhere near the surface of that. It was all inside the stove. So we'll see how this plays out. Alright, here we go. We are at, well, I'll try and get my phone on fire here. 4 minutes 30 seconds of cook time on half an ounce of alcohol in the Vargo Triad. Despite its slow fill-up speed, and which drove me crazy, it's actually kicking out some pretty good heat at the bottom of this pot right now. I'm actually fairly impressed with how it's burning. That's still hot right there. On the inside of the pot we have bubbles, and it's actually on its way to a boil. I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see inside the pot. Sorry, it's going to get a little shaky here. Tip this down a little bit. Alright, so at 5 minutes and 3 seconds, this is what the water looks like on half an ounce of alcohol with about 1 to 2 mils in a priming pan underneath it, and that is a rolling boil almost. So we are at 5 minutes 5 seconds. We'll check in here in a few minutes. Alright, we are at, it says 5 minutes 54 seconds. I'm going to call that 6 minutes. We're going to take the lid off here. And that is a rolling boil. We have a rolling boil on half an ounce of alcohol with 2 to 3 mils of alcohol in the frying pan underneath, and this is cooking fantastic. I may have to change my opinion on this alcohol stove. And the flame right now, we are at 6 minutes 21 seconds, 6 minutes 30 seconds. The flame is definitely getting a lot smaller, so I wouldn't be surprised if it went out here shortly. We'll turn the camera on here in a little bit. Alright, we are at 7 minutes 35 seconds. We still have a tiny little bit of blue flame left in the bottom. The thermometer is not touching the bottom of the titanium, it's just right in the middle of the water. And we are right at 196, 197. Hopefully this thing will continue to climb a little bit. 198, 199. Come on, hit 200, you can do it.
How are you?
198.5. We still have a little bit of flame left in the bottom there, but it looks like we're going to top out at 195 degrees. Cook time right now, we're still at 8 minutes and 30 seconds as we sit, and the flame is still going. So we'll turn the camera on as it starts going out. Alright, we are at 9 minutes 35 seconds, and the flame is actually still going. I'm fairly impressed with this. It looked like it was going to go out a little while ago, but it looks like it's kind of coming into its own little stride right here. Still cooking away, nice blue flame. Water is still boiling. Alright, we are at 11 minutes 15 seconds of cook time on half an ounce of alcohol with a few mils in a priming pan underneath to get the stove going. It's still a really nice little blue flame. The pot has been boiling for a while. We're just kind of going for overall boil time as well as how much, it boils. And right now we've got a nice little rolling boil, so you could definitely eat this or drink this when it's done boiling. We are at 12 minutes 35 seconds. Still going strong. Water still has a nice rolling boil on the inside of the pot there. Still going strong. And it's got a nice even blue flame on the bottom of the stove. I'm kind of wondering when this thing will peter out. We are approaching 15 minutes on half an ounce of alcohol, 2 to 3 mils in the priming pan. This little stove is still going strong. I'm actually fairly impressed by this. In preliminary test, it didn't work quite to this exact number, but it still did very, very well. Beautiful little rolling boil in there. You could definitely get away with less than half an ounce of alcohol in here. We're going to let this thing keep boiling just to see how long that half an ounce of alcohol burns for. Alright, we are at 16 minutes and change here. 16:45, and the flame is just starting to puff, so I'm going to sit here and watch it until it goes out, so you know exact time of death. It just went out. We are at 16 minutes 59 seconds. For overall burn time, half an ounce of alcohol, 2 to 3 mils in a pan underneath frying pan, and we're going to see what the water temperature got to for a final on this. I'm not touching the bottom of the pan with the thermometer. I'm just leaving it near the bottom in the middle of the water. The highest number I saw right there was 202 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of holding solid at 201 degrees. The Vargo Triad did a great little job for a stove. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at customerservice@prolightgear.com, or please feel free to call at 406-582-0999. 0508. Thanks and have a great day.